having a few technical difficulties getting pushed, having issues getting to first gear. What a special treat we have for you today, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a 1955 Porsche 550 Spyder Replica made by Vintage Motorcars. If you are looking at a 550 Spyder Replica, it's usually either Vintage Motorcars or Beck being the other main builder. This is the same car that James Dean died in. It's built on a tubular frame with fiberglass body, and it is powered by a 2,165cc VW motor created by CB Performance. It has dual Weber carburetors, ceramic coated Borla exhaust, making 168 horsepower at 6,200 RPM and 156 foot-pound at 4,800 RPM. We've got a 4-speed manual transmission, as well as 4-wheel disc brakes all around, and independent rear suspension. The car weighs only 1,500 pounds, and with that power to weight ratio, I think we're gonna have a good time. In terms of modifications that the owner has done, he's done a battery relocation. It started off in the wheel well, funny enough, I guess for weight distribution reasons. He moved it to the front for easier accessibility. Refreshed tires, added some pinstriping to the rear, replaced the carpets, added these metal sill plates, did vinyl on the back here, but kept the original seats to make sure it looked a little bit more, he actually wanted it to look slightly more aged. Added this banjo steering wheel and period correct shifter. When he was doing that, he also replaced the shifter linkages and replaced this plexiglass windscreen to be more period accurate and remove the chrome trim for this leather instead. With that being said, let's see how this bad boy drives. The seatbelt is hilarious. All right off the bat, let's just say that this is a different driving experience than what most of us are used to. You feel very exposed, obviously. You have this tiny little windscreen in front of you. I feel like if I were to get in an accident right now, I would immediately die. Adding a little bit of adrenaline to the experience, a little bit of excitement, some danger. A lot of slop in the steering wheel. I mean, this is not supposed to be a precision, scalpel, surgical instrument kind of machine. It's super light though, and as a result, even though we don't have power steering, it's not really a problem at all. Wow, this is a time machine. Back to a totally different time in the world, where safety and having metal cages around you was not the priority. Looking good and having a good time was higher on that list. Everything is so loose and lax. The steering wheel has a lot of slop in it. The shifter as well, super loose. The brake, gas, or I should say throttle. The brake, throttle, and clutch also require really large inputs, nice and slow. I'm definitely not nailing the heel toe. This is going to take a little bit of time to get used to. This is a very visceral experience. I'm not driving this hard. I'm not even exceeding the speed limit. And yet all my senses are maximally engaged. The sound, right? The vibrations. I can feel so much vibration and everything through this tiny little chassis. Now, it doesn't have the precision of a modern sports car, obviously. But because it's so light, oh, I love this. I love this feeling, man. Because it's so light, it's very easy to place and just toss around and play with. You know, 160 horsepower in a car that weighs only 1,500 pounds, that's enough, man. For this kind of experience, you have too much power in it in a car that's this light and, you know, tubular frame with fiberglass body. You'd be shitting bricks more than anything. Look at how all the gauges are just bouncing around. They're like, you can't even trust the gauges to be telling you accurate information. Speedometer just bouncing around everywhere. Tachometer's also like, I'm gonna do what I want today. If the Porsche GT3 is a special occasion kind of car that you really need to be intentional about when you take out of the garage, this takes it to a whole new level, right? Because this is a very intense driving experience, a very raw, visceral, not polished, right? You're not going for polish, you're not going for finesse. You're going for a true go-kart feel. And also the seats and the pedals and the wheel, none of it is adjustable, so you better hope that you fit decently well. Having such a big steering wheel is also kind of comical. The larger steering wheel allows the steering weight to be lighter on an unassisted rack. And it gives a different tone to the car. With such a large steering wheel and these larger inputs, it's more of a cruiser, right? Yes! Even with the disc brakes, which is obviously a modern technology on an older replica, it doesn't inspire you that much. Yeah, these brakes, I'm pushing pretty hard, and the car just wants to keep rolling. But I guess it would feel kind of weird if they were super grabby, since everything else is so loosey-goosey. You know, controlling the car mid-corner with throttle, everything is in slow-mo. Like over there, when I let go and want to get a little bit more rotation by easing off the throttle, it feels like I had to wait a significant amount of time for that to happen compared to a more modern car. So it's kind of interesting, right? Because normally when you have a really raw driving experience, in most cases for modern era vehicles, they're very fast, they're very quick to respond. But this car is combining a raw, highly visceral experience with very slow, lazy inputs, which makes for a very unique character. I mean, that character is more fitting for this era, right? The 1950s. And this is probably the second oldest car I've driven, the other one being a BMW 2002. And I gotta say, I like the older vintage kind of feel. It's just such an occasion. It's such a special kind of thing. I love that the tachometer is also like, we're kind of in this area, we're in this range, and then it kind of settles. Anytime I shift, you can see it bouncing around. Like that. Oh, this is so cool, man. Yeah, this push, it feels pretty shady. Even like the steering wheel has flex, man. I can bend it forward and backwards as I'm trying to hold myself still from the G-forces right now. Oh man, yeah, the way this thing just rotates like that too. Oh my god, this is so light. 1,500 pounds is nothing. Touchy throttle, very, very touchy. At least at the lower RPMs, it's a little bit more touchy than at the higher RPMs, it seems like, which is strange. Different sounds that the car is making. Yo, this has a pretty good pickup even going uphill. Because again, 168 horsepower for 1,500 pounds, not a bad ratio. I don't want any more than that. I don't want to die. So much effort is required to even turn the car, hold yourself still. I mean, you drive this car more than 30 minutes, you'll be exhausted. You get waves and thumbs up from people. What an occasion, man. This is one of those super niche cars. You're going into reverse on this is pretty funny. So you actually have a manual gate and you go like that for reverse. Put that back. I'm having trouble getting into first. So left and up, but it's not really going up much. It doesn't feel like it's going in. It's not going in. Having a few technical difficulties getting pushed. Having issues getting to first gear. So, bit of an issue. The linkage is so manual that it looks like for some reason we can't get into first. So we're gonna limp it back in second. All right, we're, oh. All right. Always something with a car like this, right? Some technical difficulties, but we're gonna get it back home in one piece. But that's what you have to expect with a car like this. That comes with the territory, right? This isn't a modern, highly refined vehicle built by a major manufacturer. This is a replica. This is in the category of, you know, like a kit car. You're not gonna expect it to be the most reliable, robust. You're gonna have some issues. But that's all part of the experience. That's part of the flavor. Yeah, something's wrong with the shifter right there. Oh, it essentially went into reverse with the reverse gate closed. So not sure what's going on. We're gonna have to go a little bit easy on the car. Oh, hello, yellow Tesla. What a juxtaposition, right? Seeing one of these next to a Tesla. Complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Because of the nature of this car, because it's so low, because it's so raw, you also get this sense of speed where you can be going, I have no idea how fast we're going, probably around, this thing cannot be trusted. He says we're going somewhere between 60 and 80, which isn't right. I feel like we're going probably around 30, 35, and I feel like I'm going much faster because of this low, open top, raw experience. It's also interesting how the inputs can make a car feel lighter or heavier. So even though this car is super light, because of how slow the steering ratio is, how much slop there is, it doesn't feel as light as 1500, right? It still feels very light. Maybe if I were to guess, I would probably say 1800, right? But because of the nature of the inputs, it influences how you feel, how you objectively feel about a car in terms of power or weight or other characteristics. You can feel every little bump and texture in the road, but that's not because it has an accurate steering rack that gives you plenty of feedback. Rather, it's because the chassis is so light. Everything just comes through. The suspension isn't even that hard, but when a car is so light, even though it is compliant, it still talks to you. A true go-kart experience through and through. What's up, Supra? I'm surrounded by giants. Please don't run me over. You know, it's not even that the throttle is necessarily super touchy, it's that it's not very precise. So if you give it 5% throttle, it may actually go 10 and then back to 2. It's like not smooth with its response to your input. It's a little bit kind of like the speedometer here. It's a little bit jagged and kind of like oscillating from your inputs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what an experience. If you ever get the opportunity to drive a car from this period, please do take up that offer, because it's unlike anything else you'll drive from the last few decades. What a special experience. What an occasion. I realize this is not miles per hour, it's kilometers per hour, so that would make more sense, the 60 to 80 from earlier. Now, overall, what a special experience. Totally unnecessary car, but if you do have $50,000 to $60,000 burning a hole in your pocket, which is the current value of these cars on the market, then you're not gonna be disappointed. This is just such a special driving experience. It's an occasion, but for this car with the roll cage, you're not gonna have a passenger. So it's just you, single seater. Big thanks to the owner for letting me drive and review this beautiful, beautiful car. Thanks for watching, my friends. Much love, and I'll see you guys in that next one.